Lesson 2. Great Women. A warm-up activity. Virginia Woolf wrote in 1928, "A woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write." By room, she meant a private and social space for a woman where she can educate herself and develop her creativity. As we know, European women had to struggle to get entry to universities. In our country, British colonial administration first opened the doors of educational institutions to women. Do you feel the urge to know how Bengali women were initiated into English education? We know of the contribution of Rokeya Sakhawat Hossain to women's education in undivided Bengal. Rokeya also wrote in English. Her Sultana's Dream is considered the first science fiction written by a woman. Rokeya's legacy is strong among subsequent generations of women in the region, and it is important for us to explore the paths women took to take their place in the field of education. Leela Nag. First female student of the Department of English, Dhaka University. In 1921. Leela Nag, also known as Leela Roy for her marriage with Anil Chandra Roy, an Indian National Congress leader, was the first woman to be admitted to the MA in English at the University of Dhaka. Breaking patriarchal barriers, Leela Nag established the identity of the Department of English from the very beginning as a platform for progressive and liberal ideas. Although her decision to join the Department of English was initially met with resistance, she achieved her goal with a special permission from the then Vice-Chancellor Philip Hartog and fulfilled her dream of graduating from the University of Dhaka. In 1923, she was the first woman to receive an MA from the Department of English. But Leela Nag's legacy goes beyond the confines of classrooms. While she was a student, she formed the Dhaka Women's Committee and raised funds for the 1921 Bengal flood victims. She was actively involved in the empowerment of women in society. In 1923, she founded Dipali Sangha, which served as a training institute for anti-colonial activists. Between 1927 and 1928, she established the first self-defense institute for girls in Bengal. Then, at the 1928 Calcutta Congress session, she presented a paper on the history of women's movement in Bengal as a delegate, and by 1929, Leela Nag had successfully founded 12 free primary schools for girls. Apart from her contribution to women's emancipation, Leela consistently voiced her opinions in politics as well. She had been imprisoned on several occasions. When the subcontinent was embroiled in turmoil during the partition, Leela Nag set up camps for victims of Noakhali riots in 1946, and for abandoned women and refugees from East Bengal in 1947. In 1946, she was the only Bengali woman elected to the Constituent Assembly of Bengal. Leela Nag broke the glass ceiling on so many levels that it is very difficult to limit her to being only a feminist. She fulfills all the criteria of citizen, rebel, reformer, social activist, and a change agent. Looking at the other women who studied in the Department of English much later, we can trace these features of social activism in them as well. See. Now let us look at Nag's legacy in the following excerpt. While Leela Nag made headlines during the 1947 partition, Nadira Begum, another student of the Department of English, was making headlines in 1949 coming from an affluent political family. Nadira Begum was a strong Marxist who was among the leading women rebels of her time. In 1949, she was expelled from the University of Dhaka for fighting for the rights of the fourth-class employees of the university. She was the only woman seen standing near Sheikh Mujibur Rahman during those protests. In Chayman Era's article entitled "The Women Who Broke the Barricades," published in the Daily Star, February 21, 2020, one is stated names of Nadira Begum, Hamida Khatun, Nurjahan Morshid, Afsari Khanum, Ranu Mukherjee and Lily Hack also shine through in the history of the language movement. Nadira Begum was a shining example of the multigenerational feminism that was evident among the women, both students and teachers of the Department of English. This is why, during the tumultuous 60s, soon after the language movement, we can find yet another woman as a valiant fighter against oppression. Razia Khan Amin, who joined as a faculty member of the department in 1962, showcased her activism through her writing and her cultural interests. She had completed her B.A. and M.A. in English from the Department of English, University of Dhaka, and proceeded to do her M.A. in English from the University of Birmingham on a scholarship from the British Council. She was simultaneously an educationist, a theatre actor, a journalist, columnist, a poet, and a celebrated writer. Among the prestigious awards she received are the PEN Lay Writing Award, 1956, the Pope Gold Medal, 1957, Bangla Academy Literary Award, 1975, Ikushi Padak, 1997, and the Ananya Literature Award, 2003. Amin exposes the brutality of the 1971 Liberation War through stark images in her poems. In her poem, Argus Under Anesthesia, she writes, "A mother frenzied by the roar of mortars throttled her whining infant. Its life for the life of millions." In yet another poem, God in the Goblet, a melancholic tone addresses all the martyrs and the intellectuals who were mercilessly killed in 1971. References to Munir, the playwright pioneer, Haider the Tagore scholar, Fazli the physician, and the novelist Kaiser form a tribute to the sacrifices of scholars of Bangladesh. Being a scholar herself, Amin had a unique approach to depicting the lives of women. In her poem, The Old Man and the Girl, she breaks the silence and speaks out against child marriage and sexual oppression. Write a summary of the following in about 150 words. If we look at the dynamic contributions of these women of the Department of English, we can trace the linear development of social activism infused with feminism throughout the decades. It is a matter of great shame that their names are not highlighted enough in historical documents today. Now, more than 50 years after independence, it is time for us to acknowledge and emphasize the role of these women of the Department of English in creating the identity of the rebellious yet silent female psyche in Bangladesh.